Does Ashgate Hospicecare support talking frankly about life-limiting illnesses?
Yeah, definitely. We are really proud of our communication here. It's a very, very important part of caring for patients and families, and we recognise that not just people with cancer but people with all sorts of life-limiting illnesses need to be able to talk openly about their disease but also their death and how they're feeling. So it's very much a part of our day-to-day lives here.
So why does Ashgate Hospicecare support talking about these life-limiting illnesses? What's the benefit to it?
I think the benefit that we see is that people feel that when they're being communicated with openly and that there aren't things that are a secret or being hidden, they're able to work through how they're feeling, how their emotions are in terms of their illness. They're able to have more controlled conversations with their families about what's happening, and also it helps them to be in control of what's happening to them as their disease progresses. It's also about making sure they don't feel stigmatised or like there's any aspect of their illness which shouldn't be talked about or the public shouldn't know about.
And how do you think people can help get rid of any stigma that exists around life-limiting illnesses and death and dying in general?
I think by not being frightened to talk to people. So if you know somebody with a life-limiting illness, whether it's cancer or something else like heart failure or COPD, if you know that that person's ill and they're going to die from their illness, be honest about it. Ask them how they are. Don't be frightened to ask questions, and maybe try not to shy away from talking if they want you to talk to them. I think we know from research out there that also from a bereavement point of view, when there's been much more open discussion about an illness, the person that's left behind often copes much better themselves too.
This week is Cancer Talk Week, but obviously we're encouraging people to talk about life-limiting illness in general. How's this week going to help with that?
I think it's about raising awareness about what we do here at the hospice, because the hospice has got a huge role to play in palliative and end-of-life care generally. Lots of people come to the hospice and they get an opportunity to see what care is like firsthand and to talk to nurses and doctors and therapists and the people that work here to see that it's normal to talk about cancer and to talk about other illnesses. The other issue is that people are living much longer with their illnesses, and so it's not a matter of hiding away and somebody dying in a hospice and things don't really get talked about. It's really about managing that person's condition for sometimes quite a long time. People do survive cancer as well. They don't necessarily die. So moving away from it being a stigma or something frightening, it means that it makes the topic much easier to talk about generally, and that's why we will be supporting this week very much so. Yeah.